Filipino P here, and for today's episode, we have a very special guest, Evan from the Savvy Expat channel. Welcome to my show.
Of course, thank you for having me on, P.
All right, well, your channel is very known in the vlogging community here in the Philippines. So tell us your story.
Do you want the short version or the long version?
Maybe let's stick with the medium.
Okay, we'll stick with the medium.
Yeah.
So basically, I was born and raised in Chicago, Illinois. My parents were also born and raised in the U.S. as well. But obviously, I'm full Filipino. And growing up in the U.S., we lived a traditional American lifestyle. White picket fence home, living out in the suburbs, just 20 minutes outside of downtown Chicago. And we eventually moved to the Philippines 4 years ago, 2019.
Okay.
And then I started my YouTube channel, the Savvy Expat, 2 years ago.
Wow, 2019, just before the lockdown.
Yes, just before.
So how was the adjustment period?
It was difficult, honestly. I mean, piled on top of my entire life revolving around living in the U.S. and not knowing what it's like to be outside of the country.
So that was also your first international travel?
First international travel,
Oh,
first time
wow.
in the Philippines, and then completely just thrown into, fully into the waters of the Philippines, so.
Did you ask your mom and dad, guys, do you hate us that much? That we have to go through this, major changes in our lives?
Well, I'll tell you what, when I originally heard the news that we would move to the Philippines, my immediate thought was, why,
Why?
Yeah,
it's like a big question mark?
Big question mark, because...
With an exclamation mark?
Yeah, I was confused because by our standard of lifestyle that we had, we were technically living what people would consider the American dream.
The American dream.
The American dream.
Okay.
And so when I originally heard that, I was confused why we'd move to the Philippines, and I brought it up to my friends, and I told them, hey, guys, I'm moving to the Philippines next year. And I told that to them in school, and they were like, why would you move to a third world country?
That was their remarks?
That's what they said.
Yeah.
And so you can imagine my reaction to that. I was like, what are we getting ourselves
What was your
into?
reaction then? Like, oh, shite. Yeah, they're right.
Yeah.
It's like
I was really just concerned, like, what are we getting ourselves into? Because why are they talking about the Philippines like this?
Yeah.
And of course, the average Westerner's notion of the Philippines is that we're still living in, like, the jungle and coconut trees and stuff. And so that's what I thought as well.
Little that they know, we also have, like, the concrete jungle here.
Yeah, we have the concrete jungle.
Yeah.
We have the BGC, the Makati around here.
Right.
Yeah.
You're saying at BGC area, right?
Exactly.
There's like there's like a big hype about BGC.
Yeah.
So tell us about it.
So, I mean, we've been living in BGC for the past 4 years now. And so living in BGC, we absolutely love it. People have often asked us why we stay in BGC, and it's really because of the convenience we're afforded there.
Right.
Of course, it's not the cheapest city to live in the Philippines by any means.
You think that's the most expensive area to live in the Philippines?
Rental price wise?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And even actually lifestyle wise, I think all in all it would be the most expensive place.
Right. Yeah, so why do you think foreigners want to retire in BGC area? Because I've been asked a lot of times that I should be covering BGC area, but that's not like my style. That's not my cup of tea, and I'm just filming the high-rise building because a lot of people are already covering that. But what I thought, like, hey, I'm going to Manila and I want to get in touch with you, with Evan, because he lives in BGC and get it from the horse's mouth.
Right.
So,
Right.
so what do you think they want to retire in BGC?
There's something for everyone here in the Philippines. So with BGC, it's for a specific demographic of people with a specific taste, right?
Specific taste.
Very specific. It's
Yeah.
very narrowed down for those that are moving to the BGC at least. Because when you think of the average Westerner moving to the Philippines, they're coming here with in mind they'll have a coconut in their hands, sipping through a straw, living the island life, going to the beach every day with their spouse or something, and living an affordable budget where they can stretch their dollar.
Right.
But obviously BGC doesn't fit any of that, any of that preferences, right? So it's for a specific group of people, and that group of people, which is my personal preference, is someone who wants the convenience of living in a modern metropolitan city,
Right.
but also having the conveniences of living in the West, but the charms of Southeast Asia. So that's the best way I could explain it, is like we can go out to the province whenever we want and experience traditional Philippine life, but we still want to attain that Western convenience of having fast internet. We don't
Right.
get power outages consistently.
You've stayed there for 4 years. How many power outages?
Roughly, I'd say two.
Two?
In the past 4 years.
Oh gosh, now I'm officially envious. I should move to BGC.
Well, how many power outages do you get down in Dumaguete?
You want the truth?
Yeah, the cold hard truth.
An average, maybe 3 times a week.
Average?
Average, 3 times a
Wow.
week, depending on the weather too, because
Right.
it's the power lines there. They're kind of fragile.
Mm-hmm.
So one time it was like 6 times in one day, and I was like having the Homer Simpson. That moment, like, I'm trying to pull my arm because I have to post the video. So
course,
it is hard. So the reason why BGC is not for everybody, it's because of the cost of living, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, because most foreigners, they come here to save money, and obviously if they're only getting like $2,000 a month or $1,800 a month, then that's not gonna do it
Absolutely
in
not, no.
BGC.
No, and average cost of living, if we're talking about how much your monthly expenses are going to be if you're actually living life in BGC, not just pinching pennies and scratching by, but enjoying your life in BGC.
Yeah,
Average could be around $3,000 per month.
$3,000
Yeah,
a
for a
month
single guy.
for a single guy.
single
No
guy.
girlfriend, no wives, no children.
I mean,
wives,
you-
children. Yeah,
You can, wives, plural.
Yeah,
no.
plural.
You can live off of that with a girlfriend, I believe, because the majority of your cost is going to go towards rent. So
Oh, gotcha.
if you're with your girlfriend, depending on how maintenance she is,
Yeah.
if she has long hair like yourself,
Right,
the
they're
hair
gonna be
treatment.
spending not much for a conditioner, just maybe just a gallon of conditioner a month.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
all in all, the reason I say $3,000 per month is because rental prices in BGC is pretty up there.
Okay, how much is the average cost?
Average cost, if you want a one bedroom in the heart of the city,
Yeah.
that could range from $800 up to $1,000 plus.
Okay.
Okay, but if you're looking for for example, a 2 bedroom unit or something a little bit more spacious and it's in a good location, that can be upwards of $1,500 plus. So if we're talking a $3,000 budget, there's already half of the budget on rent.
Exactly.
Rent alone. $500 in BGC is buying you a shoebox.
A shoebox. Yeah.
And that's the thing that I think a certain demographic, like I said, a specific demographic of expats like about BGC is that you have the healthcare there, that probably one of the top quality, if not the top quality hospital in the Philippines, St. Luke's Medical Center. The Wi-Fi is good there. You have the conveniences and the metropolis likeness of the West, but then, like I said, the charms of Southeast Asia with the Filipino people still living in BGC. Granted, yes, it's more upscale, upper class Filipinos, but so it's not like the traditional immersive experience. But
Right.
there's a certain group of expats that just don't want to completely adjust to living in the Philippines for everything that it has to offer, but they still want to hold on and attain the things that they used to have in their lifestyle in the West.
Right. So what about the nightlife there?
Oh, the nightlife in BGC. It's great.
It's great?
Yeah, it's
Do
great.
you
in
go out
BGC.
much?
I don't go out much.
Okay.
But I mean, I've been around it a bit, and it's a higher end nightlife. So
Okay.
if you compare it to like the nightlife in Poblacion Makati,
Yeah.
that's considered like the red light district, but it's like
Oh,
a party
okay.
scene, right?
Right.
But in BGC, it's more so like a social drinking. You have that, but then you can also have a really good time, loud music, and it's more high end there.
What about the women there that around BGC? Are they like the more sophisticated Filipinas?
Yeah, it's not.
They're not like the
it-
provincial-minded
is.
Filipinas,
It's-
more conservative.
I'd say the women in BGC are more westernized.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's not the traditional kind of Filipina that most foreigners would like.
They're more
Exactly.
worldly. They're more socially.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Socially advanced.
socially advanced.
Socially advanced.
I mean, if that's what you want to call it. Yeah.
Yeah, because provincial women tend to be quiet, more reserved. But I think people or women around BGC area, they are surrounded with different kinds of people.
Exactly. It's really about exposure. They're
Okay.
exposed to a different demographic of people. Financially wise, they can go out more.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's where the two differ. Filipina in a metropolitan city like BGC versus in the
Yeah.
province.
And a lot of people were like wondering why I speak the way I speak. I'm sure there's plenty of Filipinos that just sound like me, cuter than me for sure.
A lot of P's in BGC.
Yeah, a lot of P's in BGC. Okay. It's just a different P though. Just be careful. Not all of them are green.
Yeah.
Okay, so since we were like talking about dating, how old are you, Evan?
I'm 19 years old.
19?
19 years old.
Okay, well, are you currently dating?
No, not anymore.
No, not anymore.
Not anymore.
With a good, you're a good-looking lad, so.
Oh, I appreciate that. But I've dated and had experience here in the Philippines. And
Was she a Filipina?
she was a Filipina.
Okay.
She was a BGC Filipina P.
Oh, BGC
What-
Filipina
yeah,
P.
Yeah.
Ay, Chihuahua. So what happened?
Basically, I was kind of, sorry to say, but I was a little bit bored of the relationship.
Bored.
Bored. And that sounds very rude, but we can explain more later.
Okay.
And the second reason was also because I was very busy with work,
Okay.
right?
Let's tackle the boredom part
Sure,
because I'm
sure.
interested.
It's interesting because when the traditional expat comes to the Philippines,
Yeah.
they want a submissive, agreeable woman.
Right.
Somebody that they can hear their opinions and without even second guessing it, they'll just be like, okay, I'll do whatever. And to a degree, that's what I love that. That's great. But at the same time, I want someone, me being the young age that I am, I want someone who can actually kind of not butt heads, but challenge my opinions a little bit.
Right.
That have substance. Basically,
They might say like, just go back to the U.S. and then you'll find plenty of that. But
Right.
yeah, other people might see it that way. But I know what you're trying to say because there are different kinds of women. It doesn't have to be like the submissive. But you sure you can be agreeable, but at the same time you can stand up for yourself. You have your own opinion. It doesn't mean to be combative. It has just to be a partner. Like an
Exactly.
equal partner.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's the main thing is that I wouldn't want someone who's like, I guess, from the province because traditionally everything that I say will go. And I like that. I'm more so a strong-willed person.
Right.
But I want someone who has substance. And if I have an opinion on something, just state your opinion as well. And that's what I experience here. That's the opposite of what I experience here. Is I would say anything and I wouldn't hear any feedback. There was no substance. It wasn't like she was her own individual character. And for me, that's why I like a balance of like the Western values, but also the traditional Filipino values.
Okay.
I like
Nothing wrong
a
with
balance.
that.
Yeah, I like a decent balance. More so leaning on the traditional side.
Okay.
But the reason I say Western side is just because Western women tend to have more opinions to offer.
Okay.
Right? Opinions to offer.
So you like that part, a bit of that. It's almost like we're cherry picking.
Yeah, we are cherry
Yeah,
picking.
you're cherry
High
picking.
standards, yeah.
At least females here, they're not saying like, when you ask them, what do you bring to the table? They're not saying, I am the effing table. I don't think they are
No,
that
yeah.
to that point. Okay, so what are the biggest differences between a Western female compared to a Filipina so far? You've been here for 4 years, so.
From what I've observed, the main differences is values.
Values.
Yeah, it's values. That's what I've observed is the values between the two cultures. Because I suppose a Western lady or a Western woman is more prone to probably drink and party and smoke. I mean, that's just what we see in the West.
Right.
And there's really nothing wrong with, in their eyes, of doing that.
Okay.
So they can do whatever they want. I'm not the morality police.
Exactly.
Right? But whereas a traditional Filipino woman is probably more likely to stay at home, cook and clean and do what most Western men like.
Okay.
Right? Or men like in general. So,
Yeah.
Or even like be a housewife and take care of the children. So those kind of values and preferences is one of the main things. Submissiveness is another thing that's very different between the two cultures.
Right.
And agreeableness as well.
Do you see yourself dating a Westerner or a Filipina? Or just somewhere in between? You're still looking for that
Yeah.
special P.
I'm still looking for that special P. So yeah, more so like I think where I could find that balance isn't even in BGC. Because say I go to the province,
Yeah.
right? It's traditional Filipina, and say I go to the West, back to the U.S.
Yeah.
Just the average stereotypical Western woman.
Yeah.
Not to say that you can find both in each other place, but
Yeah.
BGC is like you're in the Philippines, but it's still a westernized place. So it's like the best of both worlds for me.
Hey, maybe there's a unicorn piece somewhere out there, right?
Maybe
Yeah.
somewhere out there.
Yeah, you just prepare your lasso.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on, guys coming here to steal or poach our women? Are you guys okay with that?
For me personally, I have no problem with it. There's plenty of fish out there in the sea.
Okay, lots of
Right.
Filipinos for everybody.
Yeah, a lot of peas for everybody.
A lot of peas for everybody.
Yeah, but like there's I have no personal problem with it.
Some Filipino guys here, they prefer, fair skin, a little bit heavier on the side. I mean,
Right.
foreigners, they like skinny, petite, dark skin color. So
Right. Average Filipino men here,
Yeah.
like you mentioned, they're gonna go for fair-skinned women that have more curves and whatnot.
how do people perceive you here? You look like a Filipino, but you speak like an American. Well,
Yeah.
you are American, so
Yeah.
do you confuse them? Are they puzzled? Like, what is going on here?
They're bamboozled here.
Yeah,
They I think when it comes to Westerners and being around other Westerners from the U.S. or anywhere,
Yeah.
they really understand. Like here, I'm considered like mayabang. So
Mayabang.
they're cocky, basically, guys. So they think that obviously I'm full Filipino, but when I stepped off that plane 4 years ago, I didn't know a lick of Tagalog.
No,
No,
but now
not
do
at all.
you
Now-
conversational Tagalog?
I'm conversational in Tagalog, guys. I can speak Tagalog now and understand it. But bear in mind, like the first 1 or 2 years here, in terms of my relationships with the locals,
Yeah.
it was like a living hell here, because they just didn't comprehend that you can be full Filipino but born and raised in a different country. I didn't
Right.
choose my situation. They're puzzled when I start speaking English, and then they think that the reason I'm speaking English is because like I'm an affluent rich kid from like somewhere here in the Philippines.
Oh yeah,
And I think I'm cocky.
it's beneath you to talk in Tagalog.
Yeah,
That's why
I
you have to speak in English.
Exactly.
Oh, Evan, come on.
They just think, yeah, that's what they think. But I just genuinely didn't know how to speak Tagalog at the time.
Oh, poor
So,
you. That must have been hard.
It was a little difficult, but also living in BGC, like,
Most of them
yeah,
they speak English there.
They speak English.
Okay.
But of course, when I go out to the province and I would meet like my family from here,
Yeah.
like, why are you speaking like that?
What about your extended family, your cousins? Do you get to
No.
hang around with them?
No, not much.
Not much?
Not much.
Because there's no connection.
There's no connection. We
nothing to
wouldn't-
talk about.
No, not at all. We're like completely raised in a different environment.
It's like water and oil.
It is. It is kind of. I think the only thing we can really just relate on is that we talk about the Philippines and they live
How
in the
about the food?
Philippines. The food, yeah. Like how's the weather today?
What is the end goal here, Evan? Are you going back to the United States or stay here for good?
Well, I see the Philippines as home.
Home.
So I don't plan on going to the United States at least permanently. We'll probably go back to Chicago and visit because I need to get my deep dish pizza fixed and Italian
Nothing
beef.
here to
No,
compare to.
Nothing.
No. How about pineapple on pizza?
No.
It's sacrilege,
No.
right? That's no.
No, no.
I mean, it's just my personal preference. I don't like it either.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
it's a sin. Don't
It
do
is.
it. Don't ruin a perfectly, fine pizza.
No.
Putting
Yeah.
we Filipinos, they tend to use ketchup on pizza. My brothers eat it that way.
Ketchup on pizza.
Ketchup on pizza. It's
I
like,
don't
what
know.
the heck are you doing, dude? You're missing the taste. Although it's not really the real pizza. I want to. Yeah.
I think like even just like hearing that kind of gets me. I don't know. My blood is boiling.
Boiling. It's like, how could you ruin it? It's
Because
like,
pizza is like a sacred thing in Chicago.
oh my god. Yeah.
But yeah, I miss the food there. It's the best food in the entire world.
But how about modern conveniences there? Like, can you get real cheese, real milk? The thing
Yeah.
that I really miss about America is the milk.
Because a lot of the milk here is powdered.
Yeah, and
Right.
then sometimes are those in cartons that expire 2 years from now.
Yeah,
they
I don't trust
taste.
that.
They don't taste the same. In America, I was like chugging milk,
Yeah.
glasses of milk every day. I think I was like maybe 4 or 5 glasses of milk in a day.
Wow.
I was like chugging it because I so miss the taste of it. It's creamy. It's
Yeah.
got.
Yeah.
I can't even explain it. I'm having like, oh god, orgasmic food porn in my head.
Yeah, I miss the old the milk that we have in the U.S. The dairy products,
Right.
especially the cheese. It's hard to find like that here, and if you import it, it's very expensive.
All right. Well, Evan, let's talk about vlogging.
Okay.
Yeah, how did you
The
become a
juicy topic.
vlogger?
It originally started with a personal channel when I went from doing a personal vlog that really nobody cares about anyone's daily life, and we all have our own separate lives,
Yeah.
to actually providing value on my channel.
Okay.
And so that's where the transition hit, is that one video, specific video, is top 3 places to retire in the Philippines. But it was like 2 years ago, hard to remember.
Okay.
But that video really just took off.
Oh, wow.
And so then that's when I dialed down on that topic, and I said to myself, I'm not going to make a video unless it provides some sort of substance or value.
Okay.
So and that was how the Savvy Expat channel was born, is expats can relate to me, but I can also relate to Filipino people, so there's like a bridge there that
Yeah.
I feel like we both
Yeah,
have.
like it's like you're my male version.
Yeah, the male version, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, and actually I got comments like that.
Maybe we kind of look alike too,
Yeah.
do we?
We could,
be
yeah.
brothers and sisters.
Long lost siblings.
Yeah.
I was just in the US, you were in the Philippines.
Yeah, or maybe I was adopted.
Yeah.
Nah, not really.
But I actually got comments like where our channels are somewhat similar.
Like
it crosses a bit.
Yes, yes.
Well, at least in the demographic, especially.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then I started just vlogging about topics of living in the Philippines, and the way I see the channel is that it's an all-in-one shop for someone that wants to move to the Philippines.
Do you get attacked by trolls? The keyboard
Oh, yeah.
warriors?
Of course, of course. I mean, that comes with the whole package of being on YouTube.
All men that I have on my channel,
Mm-hmm.
people would assume that, oh, you're the 6th boyfriend now. Maybe he's 10th boyfriend now. So don't be surprised to read the comments tomorrow that apparently we're
Oh,
already
God.
engaged.
Okay, guys.
Apparently when I flick my hair, that means I like you. When I wiggle my toes or wiggle my foot, that means I want to date you. And then if, heaven forbid, I dropped my shoe, then that means I want to do it with you.
Wow. So
Can you believe that?
The body language experts
Of course. I was like, oh my goodness, I should hire you guys to
interrogate someone.
Yeah, interrogate someone. But yeah, don't be surprised. Evan, have you ever encountered someone just blatantly copying your work? It's almost like every point that they just redo the video and then claim that it's their work. Like almost bullet points, like you're talking about this, and that, and they were like just blatantly copying you.
Actually, it's funny because there was one YouTube channel I came across, and it's a very small channel, but he actually calls himself the Savvy Expat as well. And he started the channel like maybe a year or two after I started mine.
What?
Yeah, so he calls himself the Savvy Expat, but it's a good name. I mean, I'll admit.
Yeah, it's got a nice ring to it.
I don't
Yeah,
mean to toot my
Savvy.
horn. Yeah.
Are there times that you get comments from people saying like, "Oh, you're too young to know what you're talking about"?
Oh yeah, I think in the beginning of the channel, all the time.
Oh gosh.
All the time. Yeah, for the first year of vlogging, that's the only comments that I really get is because you can imagine, and I can see where they're coming from. 17, 16 years old talking about cost of living and retirement.
But it's the same information that you can get online.
Exactly. And I make sure that my information is well researched.
Yeah.
I don't spend much time with people my age. It's always with like people that are at
Older
least,
than you?
Yeah, 40, 50s,
Yeah.
like retired
Yeah.
individuals. And so yeah, I mean, I would get a lot of backlash for talking about the topics I speak on. However, I would just understand, like, I say the same information I'm talking about is, how is that different than someone who is retired and saying the exact same thing? Same information.
Yeah, sometimes I get that a lot. That I'm too young to know the things that I know. That little that they know, a little research on, Google, it will come out.
Yeah.
And especially cultural references, like the references from the West, because they said, oh, there is no way you could have known about D.B. Cooper. People, I'm not living under a rock, so there's Netflix here.
Yeah, Netflix exists here, Google exists here, so.
Well, anyway, that was a lot of fun talking to you. It was an honor to have you on my channel, Evan, and best of luck. You know the drill. I'll be back on Tuesday with something special, and you don't want to miss that. So that's it for today. Bye. So, Evan, any final remarks for the viewers?
Oh.
Oops.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I guess I'll see you later, Pete.
Now everyone knows. If you think about it, I'm kind of like your massage therapist, helping you relieve all the stress and worries about life in a new country and making sure to hit all the trigger points of local culture and customs. The only thing I ask for my service is that you please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you're not late for your next session. And please consider becoming a patron so you can see all the extra content and exclusive videos on my Patreon page. And while you're waiting for your next appointment, feel free to check out these other videos too. So, are you ready for your massage? I promise I won't rub you the wrong way. Unless you ask me to.